What's up guys, it's Dimitri here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the functions of discourse particles in the spoken mode. Now, the reason I've published this video today is because many students have been asking me about the different functions of discourse particles and even what discourse particles actually are. So let's start off with defining a discourse particle. So a discourse particle is basically a filler of speech that really doesn't add any semantic meaning but rather has a pragmatic purpose. And what I mean by that is it allows us to signal our reactions, our emotions, our intentions, and to create fluency in our dialogue. So, for example, many students really don't find it hard to find discourse particles in the spoken mode. So if you get a transcript at school, you have to identify various discourse particles like well, you know, sorta, kinda, I think, a bit of, I guess, you know, yeah, nah. These are all the different types of discourse particles which are very common in our everyday dialogue, which I don't doubt I would be using right now. So where the struggle does occur though with students is not necessarily the identification but rather the explanation of the function. So what I mean by that is some students don't understand the reason why it would be used in a particular speech, and obviously this is dependent on the context, dependent on the type of transcript you're getting. So for example, like has 4 different functions in addition to its dictionary meaning. So the trouble you have as a student is trying to work out of the 4, which one would it be? So the 4 main ones include like introducing a change of topic, being used for emphasis. It's like so excellent, that is emphasis. Next, it can be used to hedge, and what this means is to minimize the force of an utterance and also not be so direct. So for example, to hedge would be like, could you like maybe, you know, shut the door? So I'm actually being less direct by using like and a few other discourse particles to minimize my directness of my statement towards that other person. And lastly, it can also be used to introduce dialogue and a change of reported dialogue, sorry. So for example, he was like, hi, how you going? She was like, yeah, good. So these functions of like are very common in our speech, and as I said, your challenge is to identify that correctly in a SAC. Other common ones include well and anyway. So anyway can be used to refocus or introduce a change of topic. So for example, if I said, anyway, let's get back to the topic. So this signals to the person that we're now shifting from one topic back to another topic or to a new topic entirely. Okay, sort of, a bit of, a little bit. These can all be used to, again, actually minimize the force of an utterance, but also to indicate imprecision. And what this means is you're not being so certain about what you're saying. So you could say it's a sort of a red color, but not really. So you're not saying it's entirely red. Okay, and you know. Now this one's actually quite hard for some students. You know can generally be used to signal sensitivity towards the hearer and to even invite them to participate in the conversation. So what I mean by sensitivity is allows us to talk about a topic that perhaps they would not be so comfortable hearing about. So by using you know, it helps to minimize that awkwardness. It can also be used obviously to check that the person's understood, you know, to check that they've actually understood what you're saying, and also to seek empathy from them. So as part of the package today, guys, I've got a sheet on my computer. It's actually a screenshot of a document from one of my students last year. Basically, it's a fairly complete sheet of discourse particles in spoken mode. So I'll attach this to this video. Make sure you download it, read through it, memorize it, learn to identify it, and you'll have no trouble in your informal SAC as well as at the end of the year. Thanks, guys.